Hi, I'm Shane from Shanesmithlaw. One of the questions I get asked a lot when I'm talking to clients is what happens if I get into another accident? And usually this comes up when either they're talking to us and they were involved in two accidents back to back, or we represent them, they're getting medical care and treatment for an accident, and then the unfortunate thing happens, they get hit again. And unfortunately this happens all too common. It just seems like once you're in that zone, you get hit again, basically. And I tell clients that we can definitely help you with this. Obviously, it complicates things because there are two accidents, two insurance companies, two defendants, two bad guys, okay? The biggest issue is, can you proceed with both? And of course, the answer is yes. If you get hit by two people, there are two claims. The issue is going to be which damages can we attribute or put with each incident, okay? And a lot is going to depend on how much better you are before the second impact, okay? So if you were involved in one accident and you were almost all the way done treating and your back and neck injuries were reduced down to where you're barely in any pain at all, like a 0 or 1 or 2 on a pain scale, and you get involved in a second accident, then it's pretty clear that any of those subsequent injuries or that treatment wasn't really tied to the first case, okay? So it's easy to differentiate or separate those two out. However, if you were in the accident, your pain was still a 5 or 6 and it was coming down and you were getting some treatment, but then you get into a second accident and your pain goes back up, that second amount of medical care and treatment isn't clearly being able to separate it just for the second case because you were still actively treating on the first case, okay? In those cases, we're gonna have to do our best to try to decide what goes with which incident, but also just know that it's not gonna be clear and it's gonna be a little muddy. And some of those bills we're actually going to send to both carriers because we know the carriers are also going to dispute some of those charges and they're going to fight with this as well. Okay, the first carrier is going to be trying to shift those injuries to the second case. The second carrier is going to say, well, you weren't all better, and try to shift some to the first case. So that's just makes our job harder on the legal side to fight with them. What we tell our clients is you concentrate on getting better, let us fight with the insurance companies, okay? So no matter what, if our clients are hurt, we want them to get the medical care they need so that they can get better. That's what we're gonna do. Now, sometimes it's a little unusual because maybe the first case was very, very severe and the second case was, minimal. It didn't really change the treatment pain or something like that. Then there may not be a claim on that second case because we may just, in talking with the client, decide, you know what, there wasn't a lot of impact here. The client didn't really feel hurt. So they don't want to really pursue the second case and they're just going to push everything towards the first case. And the medical testimony from the doctor supports that. Or sometimes the first case is not that bad and the client was, maybe a 2 or a 3 in pain. And then the second case is very, very severe and it just spikes the pain way up and you have much more serious injuries or MRIs that show all the injuries from the second case. Those are easier to separate out the injuries and the treatment. But either way, we want to emphasize to our clients, what we tell you is you concentrate on getting better. Let us fight with each insurance company. Let us talk to the doctors about which injuries should go on which case, and let us do that. Sometimes people ask me, does it ruin your first case? And the answer is no. It complicates it. It makes it a harder case for everybody working involved. And if we had to go to trial, it would make it harder because we would have to separate out the injuries and talk about both. But it certainly doesn't ruin it. And it doesn't mean you should just automatically stop your treatment on the first case too if you weren't all better, because we don't know how quickly you were going to recover on that first case. So it's a very case-specific thing. It's something you need to talk to your lawyer about, and we need to go over the details and find out where you're at. Can the same lawyer help you with both cases? Certainly. Okay, the same lawyer is going to be involved with both. The same lawyer is going to have all the medical care. They're going to know the doctors. So it makes sense to keep the same lawyer for both cases. Sometimes when you might want a different lawyer is if it happens in another state, the second one, then you might want your lawyers to talk and communicate with each other. If it happens in the same area, same state, same treatment, you certainly can have the same lawyer representing you on both. Either way, the insurance companies are going to find out about the second accident because of the technology and the databases they run, so it's not going to be a secret. So if you do get into a second accident, certainly tell your lawyer and talk to them about it. I hope that answered any questions you might have on this about if you have multiple accidents in one case or multiple accidents while you're trying to resolve one case. Remember, if you need help, please call us. If you're in pain, call Shane.
98099999999. 980999999. Shanesmithlaw. In pain, call Shane.